Hey everybody, Brad with Full Spectrum Survival. So I want to talk to you today about something that I feel is very important for our community, something that one day could mean the difference between life and death, or could put you and your group or you and your family at real risk during a disaster. As we look at the world around us and events begin to unfold and we say, wow, we really are standing on the strength of a very thin thread, an unraveling rope. And that's at the world economy, the reliance on a single fiat currency in general, the threat of nuclear war, natural disasters that are increasing in their pace, and the threat of biological disasters like a pandemic that could sweep the earth. As we look at all these threats and we say, wow, really, anything could happen at any time, we focus on building our family circles up, and then we focus on building a group of like-minded individuals, people that we would expect to have our backs, to protect us while we sleep, to have similar interests, and to not steal or not hurt us. As we look for these individuals, and even as we consider discussing things with our own family, we each go through a vetting process. And I'd say that there's two types of people that vet others for their groups. There's open arms, kind of, the old, let's hold hands, kumbaya, we'll figure it out as we go. And then there's the slower paced, start with communication. Maybe in a year we'll meet up. Maybe in 2 years we'll trust each other enough to be part of a group. No matter what process you take, there's a danger that exists. It's called the Dunning-Kruger Effect. I want to talk to you a little bit about it today because I think that it is something we have all experienced. So in short, there are types of people that have a very limited knowledge or understanding of a subject matter, but their personality type has a higher propensity to overestimate their own understanding or their own ability in this particular subject matter. In survival and preparedness, if someone said they were great with gardening or shooting or security, if they were under their own influence of the Dunning-Kruger effect, that could mean a slow or a quick death for you and your group. So these people are unable to perform the tasks on the subject matter that they feel confident, even then to themselves, that they are. While in opposition, there are people who experience the Dunning-Kruger effect that grossly underestimate their ability on a subject matter. Let me give you a case in point there. When we were building out our tiny cabin, I had a friend help me with the electricity because I don't have any great expertise there. And I asked him and he said, hey, I'm not an expert here, but I do know how to do it and I'll show you what I know. And so that was his opposition of the Dunning-Kruger effect, saying, I'm not going to say I'm a know-it-all. I know how to do some things and I'll show you. And so he was able to teach me that without inflating his own ability. In opposition to that personality type, I've met and experienced people who grossly overestimate their ability, and that's a real danger. So from the author, David Dunning, abstract, in this chapter he says, I provide argument and evidence that the scope of people's ignorance is often invisible to them. This meta-ignorance, or ignorance of ignorance, arises because lack of expertise and knowledge often hides in the realm of unknown unknowns, or is disguised by erroneous beliefs and background knowledge that only appear to be sufficient to conclude a right answer. You, I'm sure, have heard people or talked to people who, yeah, it sounds like they know what they're talking about. You might make moves on that. You might make decisions on that, only to come and find out that person did not know what they're talking about. I remember in my youth, the term was coined, knows just enough to get in trouble, or knows just enough to break it. I think that's pretty apt. So he says, I describe the Dunning-Kruger effect in which poor performers in many social and intellectual domains seem largely unaware of just how deficient their expertise is. Their deficits leave them with a double burden. Not only does their incomplete and misguided knowledge lead them to make mistakes, but those exact same deficits also prevent them from recognizing that they are making mistakes, allowing them to enhance their abilities, allowing them to look and say, I did that wrong, I'm going to learn how to do it better. These types of people that express the Dunning-Kruger effect in multiple instances throughout their life are dangerous to our community. They do not want to seem ignorant. They do not want to seem knowledgeless about a subject, and they are able to build a self-confidence for others and even in themselves that they believe they know how to do it, but they don't. The irony of the Dunning-Kruger effect is that, Professor Dunning notes, the knowledge and intelligence that are required to be good at a task are often the same principles, the same qualities needed to recognize that you're not good at a task. I can look at myself and say I'm not good at a lot of things. Painting? No, it's not good. There's lots of things that I'm not good at. I'm sure that you guys can look at your own lives and go, I wouldn't even touch that. Or I'll do my best, and it might be fun. The 1999 paper that launched the Dunning-Kruger effect was called Unskilled and Unaware of It: How Difficulties in Recognizing One's Own Incompetence Lead to Inflated Self-Assessments. It included studies where they took university students and gave them a wide spectrum of questionnaires, a wide spectrum of information to look over, and then they asked them sort of hidden answers and saw that a great percentage of those people thought they knew what they were talking about, but really had no idea, but they really believed it. Those who scored in the 10th percentile, they scored higher than 10% of the others, rated their grammar abilities at 67th percentile. So those who scored at the lowest thought they were above average. Their actual grammar ability was very poor, but they thought they were in the top third of people. Okay, so let's talk about how this could be a danger to our community. When a disaster strikes and you've accepted someone into your group that said they were good at marksmanship, they said they were good at security, they said they could run a patrol, but they can't. Now your group or your family might be overrun by people who are hungry, people who want that medicine that you have. What about people who say they're good at gardening, but yet they have a brown thumb? Some people really believe this, that they have a good skill at something like this, and their actual practice in it is very poor. So how do you and I combat this? How do we look and say, in the vetting process of a person, that we don't want to fall trap to their own self-confidence? You have to vet them by the fruits of their labor. If a person says that they know something, make sure before you accept them into your group that they can back that up. Not just by talking about it. No amount of communication matters when the bullets fly, when people are hungry, or when first aid counts. Communication and your ability to talk about it mean absolutely squat at that point. So if they say they're a house builder, check out their house. If they say they're a marksman, go to the range with them. If they say they can run security, run through patrol and security scenarios with them. Check the facts. The proof will be in their ability, physical ability, not their self-confidence. Guys, I hope that this at least got you thinking at least about people in your own group or your own family. I know that we each have to look at our family and or our groups, and we have to say, where are we lacking? I urge each one of us to this year, take those lacking points and build them up. If you need first aid in your group, find somebody who actually knows it. Find a nurse who has worked it, and then still make them prove it. Still make them prove it. There are some people in the medical field who, sure, they know the textbook. They might even work in a hospital or a doctor setting right now, but their abilities aren't where you'll need them during a crisis. So you would take that and move on. I implore you to please do this with your groups and with your family, and look at yourself and build your own skills as they need to be. Run through practice scenarios. Use this week. If you think you're great at gardening, go to the junkiest thrift store, dollar store, wherever, buy the junkiest seeds that they have. Take the dirt in your backyard. Repair it with only what you have on hand. Whether that's chicken chicken droppings, rabbit droppings. You need to go find composting material underneath a tree. Repair it with what you have on hand, the dirt in your own backyard, and get those seeds to grow inside of a cut in half 2-liter bottle. Let's work on these skills together. If you guys have witnessed the Dunning-Kruger effect, please put it in the comment box below. How have you gotten over it, or has it hurt you and your family? As always, from Kelly and I to you and yours, stay safe and keep watch.